Hafeman Bros and Ben is bringing in. We're live with Hafeman Bros and you are live, and we say welcome, 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 welcome to Brews and Bros number 2. My favorite number, as you all know, is number 2. And we welcome you to Brews and Bros number 2. Ben, how are we doing today?
You have me on the iPad thing again?
Yes. I would have to pay $40 a month to be able to Zoom our conversation, take our Zoom conversation and patch it through to YouTube Live, which at this point, with zero revenue coming into Hafeman Brothers, I'm not willing to pay $40 a month to do that. So, sorry, guys. Sorry, Ben.
I'm gonna adjust my face.
Oh wait, I'll do this too. Watch this. There.
It didn't work.
Now you're smaller, and it's creeping me out. But I was told last week. See, the big problem I had was because I didn't have this magical elevation setup, which I currently have, which is actually game boxes stacked up, and then the iPad set on the game boxes.
Oh, good. So then you got me even up.
Yeah.
Hold me up.
Yeah, I don't have to hold you, which then caused some cramping in my arms last week. One thing, but then it also didn't allow me to drink hardly any beer. Like I couldn't drink hardly any beer last week, so I missed the point of the show.
Well, I'm always gonna miss the point of the show then because I'm not drinking beer.
It's okay if you're not drinking beer though, because I did give some leeway with that. Thing is, Sarah and Andrew said they're going to be drinking wine tonight, which is fine. Wine is fine. Wine's
I'm drinking.
You're drinking
in a Packer cup.
Is it wine? Wine cooler? Is that what that is?
No, it's wine, dude.
Oh,
it's some crap Jesse had. I just.
But so
rosé something. I don't know what it is.
So I decided to say wine was fine. Yeah, wine was fine. So, but Brews and Bros is a lot catchier than like any alcoholic drink you want and Bros. Like that just doesn't quite have the same ring to it, if you get what I mean. Okay, Eric's here. Eric, how we doing? Alt beer here, he says. Andrew got beer, so they may have both wine and beer. Well, please do. It'll make this show better. The more you drink, the better this show will be. Guaranteed. That is a guarantee for all of you. Now, what am I drinking tonight? It's Radicats from Carbon 4. And it's a bottle, and what I'm going to do is open it with the bottle opener that I always love to use, which is Orb's Bottle Gas Service. This was from Grandpa, man. This was Grandpa's biz. What I open all my bottles with, but I'm going to be pouring it into a Packer mug to keep the Packer theme. And in addition to that, one other thing I'm doing is wearing blue tonight. Ben, tell us about why we're wearing blue today on Friday.
Because it's autism, or no, well, it is autism awareness.
It is correct. Correct.
It's child abuse. Don't do that stuff. I'm sure there's a better way to say it, but that's how I say it. Don't be a jerk. Don't hit kids. Wear blue. There you go.
Yes, exactly.
Something like that. Sarah knows better.
Child abuse prevention month, I believe, is what it is. That's why we're wearing blue tonight. Okay. Ben says he doesn't have much to talk about tonight. I disagree.
Well, if you can bring stuff up, then I'll say something.
Okay.
But.
No, Eric, don't insult me, Eric. Eric, with his snappy little comments, a coffee mug? Are you using a straw too? Listen, man, beer tastes good out of anything with a Packer logo or name or symbol on it. Packers and beer, they just go together so well. And so I don't care what it is. See? Glass mug, coffee mug, whatever. This is what I drank out of all day. Coffee this morning, water all day, and beer tonight. That's a day in the life of me. Nice face, Ben. You look like you're really...
I don't drink wine very much.
You're really enjoying that wine, huh?
It hit me. I was like, ooh.
Oh, thanks, Eric. Have some class, he says. Use a glass. Guess what? If you haven't known me long enough, dude, I'm zero class. No class. That's it. What do you expect? You're lucky I put it in a coffee mug. Jason Eckes. Yo, Captain Coke right now. Well, that's fine too. Beer coming later. That's fine. Again, Eckes, if you're just hopping on, and Butter, rocking the Bush Light again. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. But Eckes just hopping on. We were telling people that we're giving some leeway here. We know the title of the show is Brews and Bros, but it doesn't have. It can be the alcohol of choice. We just want to have a nice drink together and chat a little bit and enjoy ourselves. But the reason we can't just modify that is because, again, Brews and Bros has a nice ring to it. Your alcohol of choice and Bros doesn't have the same ring. So we're not going to switch it, but you can drink whatever the heck you want. That's fine. Ben's even drinking tonight. Not root beer, wine. Wine is fine. So Ben, I sent you, and I sent this out to a handful of people. No, wait, I'm sorry. We have to start with Rashawn Gary. I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, Eric, wow, you guys have already done. Oh, wait. Andrew thinks our show is already better than last week, probably because we haven't talked about you in underwear or you puking or stuff like that. Now we just did. Sorry, Andrew, I just ruined it.
It might happen tonight now that I'm drinking this.
Oh, boy. All right, Eric sent us something. He's active on Twitter, and he saw a tweet from Rashawn Gary, which, what did you think about that tweet from Rashawn Gary, Ben, talking about what he could have done last year with more snaps? Any thoughts?
What did it say?
Oh, God.
Do you remember it?
Hold on. I guess I shouldn't have started with that. Here he is. Here he is. Right. Rashawn Gary. No, Rashawn Gary. I have it right here. This is a true journalist, has the accurate information, and that's what I am. All right. Rashawn Gary tweeted, "I know what I put into this. No matter how many snaps I had. Could have had 10 sacks with a slight adjustment here and there. Gotta be better. Going to be better. It's a game of inches, and I got to have them. Hashtag put cheese on everything. Hashtag go Pack Go." Rashawn Gary, what do you say?
That's good. I say, this is what I say. He's saying, hey, I could have had 10 sacks, but I was an inch away. And maybe he knows because he sucks. I don't know. Or because he didn't work hard enough. Or he didn't put enough effort into it. I don't know. Yeah, if he would have had more chances, he would have had more sacks. That makes sense. But we went over this on one of the episodes of Hafeman Brothers Talking Packers. We went over his percentage of plays to actual sacks and to plays that were impact plays behind the line of scrimmage, and compared it to Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith beat him by like 10 times and 5 times, 6 times, 7 times the amount of things in percentage-wise. And he still played 250-something snaps last year. That's a lot of snaps. And now there's no reason why he can't do it this year with Kyler Fackrell in New York. So this is his time. So yeah, that's fine. I mean, as long as it sounds like he's getting defensive because he knows everybody's saying, hey, he was, kind of a bust last year. He's not a bust yet. But when you get a guy at 12th overall, you want him to be an impact player and do something for the team that year that you get him. Right?
Yes.
You don't want him to sit around and do nothing.
This is me agreeing,
That's
Nick.
the problem.
Nick, I'm agreeing with Ben. I'm agreeing with Ben again.
That's the problem. It has nothing to do with how many opportunities he had. And it's more like I said before, I'm not upset with Rashawn Gary. He shouldn't have been the 12th pick, period.
True, not his fault.
Should have been. I mean, it's Gutekunst's fault for drafting him that high. They could have had him at the end of the first round. They could have taken Savage at 12. It could have been nuts. They could have traded back to 17, got another pick someplace else, got Savage, and then used their second pick at where it was lower and got Gary lower. But it's all whatever. It's done. There's nothing you can do about it anymore. So whatever. I don't care. What I'm more concerned about, did you hear what Blake Martinez said?
No, I didn't hear it. Tell me what happened. I heard something, but I've been busy this week. I'm sorry.
Oh, Blake Martinez.
Yes.
Kind of the same sort of thing. New York media is like, hey, Blake Martinez, you got a lot of tackles, but you didn't make a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage. A lot of your tackles are kind of cleaning up the mess, right? And you had no big splash plays. You had that one interception. You had a sack here and there. Blake Martinez said last year, like Penn said, yeah, your job is not to fill any gaps. Your job is to make sure Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith look good. Clean up their mess. Let them do something. You clean up their mess. He said he was not assigned gaps. He said he was not, his blitzing went down to like 10% of what it was before last year. So he hardly ever got the blitz or do any make any plays that way or even run blitz. Even run plays blitz. Okay? So he's saying that, yeah, Zadarius and Preston had pretty good years, and they had pretty good years. And a lot of it was because they were able to just go after the quarterback or go after the plays to make plays, and it was Blake's position, and he was told by the head coach or by the defensive coordinator to make sure those guys are right, which means if they're wrong, you got to make that. You got to make the play. And that's big. I mean, that's exactly what he said. He said, make sure that those guys are right, is what he was told by Penn. Now, that scares me. Because what I don't want to see is a middle linebacker who's got to sit there and wait until he watches another guy do something before he can do something. And that's what we always complained about Martinez, is that he wasn't attacking the line of scrimmage. Why isn't he attacking the line of scrimmage? Why doesn't he read the freaking defense or read the offense? No, and then make a move at the running play. Why was he so slow to get up there on like that Mulcher touchdown? Looked really terrible. Is that him? Yeah, he's kind of slow. But maybe it was because he was waiting for something, because he's supposed to clean up the mess. Well, when you're told to clean up the mess, you're automatically a reactive player. You're not forcing the action. You're reacting to what other things are going on, and that's going to put you a step behind at all times.
True.
If that is truly what happened, if that's truly what Martinez was told by his defensive coordinator, that is the defensive coordinator's fault, not Martinez's fault. And I'll say this.
I buy it.
That crap better not happen anymore. They better figure out a way to make all the guys be able to react and have an assignment and make the play. Not these two guys get to go crazy and you have to clean up their mess. That's a bunch of crap. And I feel sorry for Blake Martinez because he got so much crap all year. And
not from
knows if it was his fault or not. He may have screwed up a couple times.
Just wait. I mean,
come on.
Not from Eckes, though. He didn't get any crap from Eckes.
Well, that's good. That's good. What do you think about this?
Hang on. We got Nico joining us with a big thumbs up. We also got Andy Brown with a yo-yo. Nico and Andy Brown.
Brown here.
Here's a Go Pack Go for you guys.
He said he was super excited to have Fackrell on the Giants with him. And he said that Fackrell is probably the best cover linebacker he's ever played with.
Wow.
Think about that. And how many times has Fackrell in there comforting anybody? Once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're like, okay, what is going on? Like, they didn't say this stuff all year because he's a professional. He won't talk smack about a coach when he's there. But the fact that he's saying something when he leaves, and he's only, he's a young guy. He can still be in the league for a while, and it could hurt him by saying this kind of stuff. But I think he was trying to defend himself as far as, like, these reporters are saying, hey, you got a whole bunch of tackles, but, it looked like you guys are giving up a lot of yards against the run. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I had no gap assignment. I'm there to clean up the mess.
Interesting.
Think about that. What is your opinion on that?
Well, first I got to say the New York media is very different than the Green Bay media. So that's for sure.
They're all over him.
Yeah.
Right away. They're like, hey, what the heck?
However, that's interesting. And look, Blake Martinez, good character guy, straight up guy. I believe it. I believe that's what went down. I also, as you and I got very frustrated with the Packers' last season with the defense, I also very much believe that after a couple of games where they gave up some chunk plays and big plays, that Matt LaFleur then mandated to Mike Pettin to play defense differently, to not give up any big plays. And because of that, they were much less effective in coverage, and the defense played they just weren't as good at stopping people. And you saw those super long drives. They're on the field all the time, blah, 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 because they're playing soft. Because I believe it came from the head coach, Matt. Now, this is some, I'm speculating here, but the way they played the first couple weeks versus the way they played after that was very different. And I think it was after they gave up chunk plays, and the head coach is like, no more big plays. Can't give up those big plays. So start playing off, guys. Don't have these corners press. Have the safeties back. Yada, 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 all the same sort of stuff that we saw from Dom Capers all the time. We never wanted it, and I didn't like it. And I think that came from the head coach, not from Mike Pettin. So I
don't know.
Who that may have come from Mike Pettin, but maybe that was also part of, I don't know. That's interesting though that he says it. Another thing interesting. What does Ekis say? Ekis loves Blake. We know that. Eric says if that was true, he was doing his job, which I agree. I love guys that do their job. Guys you can count on, guys that do their job. Blake Martinez, we love Blake Martinez, man. He's great. He's great. Great Packer, great player. Ekis loves him.
What I'm saying is, okay, what's the difference is now if it doesn't matter what I'm saying is this. If that's what he was told,
right?
The middle linebacker, the starting middle linebacker, the guy who is the quarterback of the defense, okay, is told to clean up the other guy's mess, pretty much. It doesn't matter who they get in there. If they keep telling the same guy to do that, he's always going to be a reactive player. They can get the fastest, most instinctive player of all time. And if he still is told, hey, don't worry about gap assignments, clean up when other guys screw up, or if the guy goes to make a play and he's wrong, you have to make him look right by making the tackle, that's a problem. That's not a defensive scheme. That's a very big boom or bust type of defense. So you're either going to make a big play and screw up the play, or you're going to give up a big run. And if you do that every single time, it's a 50-50 shot. And guess what? A 50-50 shot equals half the time they're going to get enough yards to get a first down, and the drive is sustained against that defense, and they don't get off the field. And that's what happened last year. So can Christian Kirksey, all of a sudden he's going to be told something different? I hope so. They better change their philosophy, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It don't matter who they put in there. Even if they draft the guy who's a freak of nature, there isn't anybody to draft right now other than there's a couple guys, Queen and Murray, who are pretty good, but they're not going to probably fall to number 30, so they're not going to get them. But whatever. They got to change the philosophy on defense. They got to get some bigger guys on defensive line, and they got to be able to, have a couple guys, blitz or whatever, able to do it. But you can't just have two guys blitz and everybody else just react to everything. That's nuts. I don't know. It seemed to me like that's a big, holy crap. Like that's a big thing that was said.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said,
it's not a position thing. It's not Blake Martinez thing. It's that position. If they keep coaching it that way, nothing's going to change next year.
We'll see how they adjust. Agus says he loves Blake, but the Giants gave him a lot of money. Browner agrees that he wanted too much money for his overall talent. Really likes Martinez, but it was time to if Giants made that big of an offer, you got to let him go. Agus also agrees with you, but if that's the scheme, then Zadarius Smith, let him make the plays, we cover him, and then give him credit too that 55 wouldn't be making those plays without the support. So it's a whole thing. I mean, we get the whole defense has to do that. Ben brought up the draft. Okay, mom and dad are back. They're on now, drinking the last two bottles of Two Stall from Anapee Brewery. Hey, mom and dad. I want to know from you, people chiming in on the chat, what do you want to see from Ben's pointing out the cross? The cross is for mom and dad tonight. He put that in the shot just for you guys.
Yeah, because I haven't called home in that couple weeks. Man. See, there's a cross in my house.
Anyway, I want to know from you guys with the draft coming up, and we're going to do a breakdown of the draft as well. That'll be an actual show sometime. Who do you want to see the Packers take? Who do you hope they can get in the first round? So if you want to start piping things in, Eric, I know you don't care. So who do you hope the Raiders get? If you're a fan of a different team, I don't know if Eric Gardner jumped on here or anybody else that we know that are Viking fans. You can tell us who you hope the Vikings grab in the first round too. But
Vikings, I don't know if they have a first round. They traded away their pick.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Or no.
They
got an extra pick. That's right. They got an extra pick. That's right. They didn't trade away their pick.
Doesn't care who it is. He wants a wide receiver or O-line. Well, they certainly could get better at both those spots, Browner. That's a good thing.
Yep.
The other thing Ben and I have talked about, obviously, more depth at linebacker, inside linebacker. They don't need more edge, but they need more linebackers that can play, read, react, cover. So like Murray would be awesome. I don't know if they can get him there. The other thing that the Packers have stressed so much is high character individuals on their team. And they've really made an emphasis on that with everybody they've gotten, everybody they drafted, all that sort of stuff. And they get to find out more about these guys, their stories, all that. So, Murray has an awesome story. I would not be surprised if the Packers have enough ammo to work with that they make a little jump to grab him in the first round if he's there. But I don't know if they have enough to work with to entice some other team to jump up. So we'll see.
I hope they can, because he's a player that that could really be a difference maker, an inside linebacker right away. And even Queen's good from LSU. I think he's good too. But Murray's a little more solid player all the way around. And after that, there are some guys later on in the draft that they could probably get from that middle linebacker that aren't too bad. But they really need a guy that they can just draft him and start him now. Because Kirksey's got that injury history, and I don't know how long he can last. And other than that, you've got Summers, who's a 7th-round pick, and Burks, who knows what he is, and that's it. I mean, they got to get a guy who can play now and do something. And if they can trade up, I mean, they've got a bunch of picks. They usually do it all the time.
Right.
Just move up for once. Don't move back. They moved up to get Savage last year. Maybe move up again this year to get a linebacker. That wouldn't be bad. I
hope so. We don't want to see jump back, trade out of the first round. Not just for the point of if you're watching the first round and you wait till pick 30 and the Packers trade it. How frustrating that is.
That happens. I mean, when they took Kevin King, it happened. I watched the whole dang draft. I was going back between the draft and the Bucs playoff game. Back and forth all night. And they traded out of the first round, and I was like, I could have just watched the whole Bucs game. Of course, the Bucs lost, I think. But I don't want to get into that right now.
And they elected not to draft TJ Watt that year. So, dumb. Anyway, we don't want to see that. Eka says trade up. We have a lot of picks, make a package, and he wants Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker safety from Clemson.
He'll be long gone, Eckes. There's no way.
Yeah, okay.
He'll be long gone. He'll be drafted in the top 5, if not the top 10. He's too dynamic of a player. He's the kind of guy the Packers should get him. He's a guy where you have everybody, all the other 10 guys on their defense, you give them jobs and assignments, and you let Simmons go crazy because he's fast and he's tall and he's lean and he's he's one of those guys who could remember how I always talk about you need to have a spy for Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson or whoever. This is your spy. Simmons is the guy who can spy any quarterback, no matter how fast, and make a play. He can read the play, tackle great. He's got good coverage skills. He's like a awesome player. There's no freaking way that they're going to get him unless they can somehow trade away. It'd be trade away the next number 1 picks for the next 3 years to get all in 4 or 5. Yeah, sure, then maybe. But otherwise, I don't see it happening. But I agree with that because he's awesome. It's just he's never going to be a Packer. No way.
All right. Eric has, for the Raiders, his hopes are for a big, fatty D tackle. So we can hope. There might be an oversized defensive tackle the Raiders could grab. But he also says they need speed on offense, so they might go that direction. He hates to sound like Al Davis, but he thinks the Raiders have a need for speed. Dad says Jonathan Taylor, which I think that's probably not going to happen. Plus, I don't know, maybe no,
Aaron Jones.
Not in the first round. But if he's there at second or third, hey, that gives you more leverage against Jones for a contract, all that stuff. Let's see.
Come on, Dad.
Oh, Nick, come on, Nick. Nick says, bring back the Claymaker.
Hey, he'll come back for $2 million.
If he's cheap,
sure. And you can play him at middle linebacker, sure. But otherwise, no. I would. I'd rather see Jordy back than see him back. Jordy's not coming back. He's out. He's out.
Well,
he's sitting at home doing his thing.
If what you said previously is correct, where Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith have a lot of latitude in what they do and they don't follow their assignment, if you had Clay Matthews in there also not following his assignment, which he repeatedly did not do, you'd have three guys on the front just ad-libbing and not following their assignments. That could be a recipe for disaster almost every play. So I don't know about Clay Matthews fitting back in. But if he's cheap, okay, sure, why not? He'll bring some more.
I don't know if they're not
Packer
following
love.
their assignment, but I mean, if you watch, like, okay, let's just take a look at the first touchdown that the 49ers had in the play at the NFC Championship game. When Preston Smith, and it was third down, don't get me wrong, so I understand why you took an outside angle of the quarterback. But, and then I think it was, I don't know, forget me, I'm done.
All right, we got to cut him off. That's wine. Hey, that's wine tonight.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I need my notes.
It's wine.
Notes. I don't know what I'm talking about.
This is the effect of alcohol for Ben. It's not good. That's why he normally drinks other things and non-alcoholic beverages. Eric joking about Clay Matthews' age. Nice, Eric. Mom says she loves the quarterback. Mom says she loves the quarterback from Utah. So there's, love from Utah, thinking he might be one. Not in the first round, but there's a lot of buzz about him, and a lot of people thinking he could be the quarterback to draft who could then take over for Aaron Rodgers, and they bounce Rodgers out at some point. Happens to a lot of quarterbacks late in their career, of course, and I don't know, but we'll see. That brings me to, first off, we jumped in here. I know we're talking a little Packers. But hopefully, with all the crazy stuff going on, everybody's doing well, everybody's staying healthy, being safe, and feeling okay. We're here for this show, Brews and Bros. We're trying to give you a little something different, something we can interact with people on, and then also something to just, let's talk about sports for a little bit. Right now, we're without sports. I wanted to tell you guys, and I wanted to ask people, what are you currently doing right now to get your sports fix? Like, what are you doing? Because there's no sports on, right? One thing I did was I went and I tracked down the Badgers 2015 tournament game, the semifinal game against Kentucky, found it on YouTube and rewatched the whole game. And it was awesome. Like, great. I understand that it wasn't a live game anymore, but it was still fun to go back and rewatch the whole thing and see it all and see that awesome Badgers team win that game. Now, it sucked that they lost to Duke. I didn't go back and rewatch the championship, but I watched that game, and it was very cool. I'm finding other things like that. I see the NFL's putting more and more, if you're looking for football, they're putting more and more full games on recently as well, because including the 2016 playoff win for the Packers at Dallas in the divisional round, which was that fantastic finish. Go back and watch that game for fun. If you're looking for some sports stuff, find these things. They're putting whole games, the full game on YouTube, and you can check it out, and at least allows you to kind of refresh your memory on some of that stuff. Nick's been playing MLB The Show. Browner's been doing NCAA Football 14 on Season 2 with the Badgers, currently ranked number 1. Nice work, Browner. Badgers never been ranked number 1 before, so at least you could bring him there. But, find those things. They're out there. And right now, if you're a sports person and you love sports like we do, it's tough. Not to mention everything else that's going on in the world. Sports is kind of our one thing that we could step away for 3 hours, 2 hours to kind of do something different and take our minds off some of the stresses. And because that's not there, maybe you can find some of these other things. Browner also watched the Juan Nieves No-No last night for fun. You want to know, talking about baseball, and Nick will remember this from 1987. Nice, Browner. I don't know where he found it. Is that on what is that shot in? Is that like that's got to be 4x3, 480, right? I mean, the resolution's not great, but that's okay. Eka says booze helps too, but no, Nick will remember this about baseball. One of the most
I just would say that.
one of the most exciting pitching dominated games I've ever watched. And this guy was he was great for a while, and then he kind of flashed out. What was Kerry Wood for the Cubs, his 20 strikeout game was unbelievable. That was early on his career. He had an incredible hook going that game, and he had the fastball and everything to boot. And the way he mowed down 20, I think it was against the Astros. But Nick and I were actually watching that game live when we lived together at an apartment just off of Water Street, just the two of us. And that was really exciting to watch. It was just, I mean, when you see a player like that dominate a game in the way he did, and you talk about Nieves, different pitching performances like that, it's pretty fun to go back and watch some of that stuff just to kind of refresh on all the details. It's pretty cool. So that was
a really good documentary on that game on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, really?
I found it, watched it. Yeah, okay. It's awesome.
I mean,
they talked to Kerry Wood. It's like 20 years later or whatever. They talked to him and a whole bunch of other guys about it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Agus says,
I told Dad about it.
That's cool. Nick says, "Boo, Nick, we watched that together." It's not like we're rooting for the Cubs. It was just an awesome performance by a player, so it was fun to see. Ekis says he sits by his mailbox waiting for the new Countervoid CD because Ekis still likes CDs, Ben.
Funny how Ekis would say that. I actually, since I've got nothing to do right now, other than nothing.
All right, Ben's going to carry the show for a second. Take it away, Ben.
I just say it. I did write 3 lyrics for 3 songs. They're done. One of them is music Brad sent me, so that's done. So the whole song done. We haven't done anything for like 2.5 years now, or 3 years, or however long it's been. So it's about time to get going. But this has helped us to do something. I haven't been up there. We're talking about going up there, and then he said something about somebody in his, like, a parent from his school got coronavirus or something. So he was like, I don't know, maybe don't come for a while because I don't know what's going on. So, but he hasn't gone to school. It's just he doesn't know if he's got it or who got it or what. But I might be going up there in a week or so to get started on some things. So there's something coming. I mean, that's the only good thing I can think about this coronavirus. I've got time to actually do stuff now, and then I can write about things. So far, the first 3 songs, 2 of them are about pretty much like coronavirus, like sitting at home doing nothing, or what am I going to do here, or you know what I mean, stuff like that. So it's been something. I've got some motivation. Let's put it that way. Otherwise, my life is so boring. I have no motivation. It's not like when I was younger and things mattered. Now nothing really matters. It's all the same crap.
That's not true. And I have to clarify, I wasn't laughing at Ben's music, and I was not laughing at the coronavirus. I was laughing at Nick saying my favorite Cub is Bartman.
There's actually a great documentary about Bartman I've seen too. Really good documentary. It has the whole whole thing. It's got like behind the scenes stuff with the people who they had to get him out of there because he was everything was, I don't know. It's a whole long thing. I don't know where I found it. Probably on YouTube. But maybe it's a 30 for 30, I don't know. But it's a really good documentary about that whole Bartman thing. It's for any Cub fans out there. It's a good watch. But
Sarah says, Nick, you suck. Actually, Andrew typed it. Andrew typed Nick, you suck, and then followed up with from Sarah. So, those two have had a feud for a while. I mean, it goes back. We don't need to get into it. But Sarah and Nick, come on, mend the fences, guys. Mend the fences. Nick, the Bartman comment doesn't help Sarah out. She doesn't make her like you better. So maybe don't bash the Cubs, man. Hey, D.W. Lois and others have gone back and watched the Cubs Game 7 World Series victory. That was a 5.5 hour game or 5 hour and 30-minute game or some craziness. That is also available on YouTube. So if you're a Cubs fan, you're missing baseball right now. The Cubs have disappointed you the last few years. You can go back and watch that one. That's fun. I remember
really
watching.
Sad?
Yeah.
I watched that game when the Cubs won the World Series, and that's when I realized I'm no longer a baseball fan because I felt absolutely nothing. Nothing. Didn't care. And that's when I knew I don't care about baseball anymore. Isn't that terrible? That
is terrible because you're the son of a Cubs fan, a lifelong Cubs fan. Our grandma was a Cubs fan. What is wrong with you, man? I'm not necessarily a Cubs fan, but I could at least appreciate, the 108 years or whatever the heck it was. I think it was 108 years, right?
I was a huge Cubs fan. I mean, come on.
Back.
Ryan, I played second base. Ryan Sandberg was my favorite guy. Jody Davis was my favorite guy before that. I wanted to be a catcher.
Jody
I
Davis.
love the Cubs.
I know.
I love the Cubs. Doug DeCenzo. Come on.
That guy was like 5
Luis
foot.
Gonzalez.
He was. I think Doug DeCenzo was like 5'7", but he had like
He's my favorite player.
He had like a 2.5 foot glove. Like he had the biggest glove of anybody, but he was the smallest guy. It was amazing. I don't know how he did it.
Everything.
Sarah says it was that game was the most amazing game ever. Game 7 of the 2016 World Series. Sarah also said you would have cared if you were at her house like the rest of us, Ben, because I was there.
Probably.
Dad was there. Andrew. And for the whole whatever, I think it was 5.5 hours. Is that really it? That's insane. That's crazy. But
the weird thing is, I felt more watching Luis Gonzalez score the winning run for the Diamondbacks against the Yankees in 2001 or whatever that was.
That was very exciting.
I felt more watching that game than I did when the Cubs won the World Series, which is really, really weird because I don't care about the Diamondbacks or the Yankees. Though Luis Gonzalez is a former Cub who I like. So I think it's just that I hadn't watched baseball in so long that I didn't know who I didn't know any of those guys were. I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know any of the players. I don't watch them. So I was like, Cubs, whatever. I thought I'd feel more, and I didn't feel any.
I understand. Mom was there too. I think I just felt I wasn't feeling a lot of excitement and joy for the Cubs. I think I was just feeling a lot of excitement and joy for Dad and for Sarah and people like that. Eric says, come on, those middle innings of weekend Cubs games on WGN were some of your dad's best naps, which is probably true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
He was working. Dad worked all the time.
That's true. Leon Durham. Ekis remembers Leon Durham. Nice.
Yes, he was okay. But Mark Grace came and took his spot and was much better.
Oh yeah, he was good. Sarah's favorite. Hey, Brewers fans, what are some of your disappointments from the last few years?
Lord knows I hate the Cardinals ever since 1982. I've been hating the Cardinals ever since then.
At least we can all agree on that, can't we? Can't we all agree that the Cardinals are just annoying and we can all hate them because they are just always good? It doesn't matter whether they had a bunch of stars or they had seemingly no stars. They were always in the middle of the division and screwing things up for the Brewers or the Cubs. So as Brewers and Cubs fans, we can at least come together to hate the Cardinals. Isn't that clear? I hope so.
Yeah. And then when the Brewers moved to National League and had to face the Cardinals all the time, that was the worst.
Yeah.
I already hated them back when they had to play them in the World Series in '82. Then after that, I was like, why? All because Bud Selig wanted more money that the Cubs fans would have to come to the Milwaukee Stadium when the Brewers would play the Cubs more often. That's all he did, so he'd get more money. That's why Bud Selig changed that when he was the commissioner. You know that? That's why the Brewers went to the National League.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
And Ben, you just gave people insight into how long it's been since you've been to a baseball game in Milwaukee because you just talked about County Stadium and not Miller Park. You've never been to Miller Park, have you?
Never been to Miller Park.
Oh my.
I've been to the new Twins Stadium twice. Never, and that's only been there for I don't know how long. That was a couple years. I don't know how many years the Twins Stadium's been, but I've been to the new Twins Stadium twice. Once to watch the Brewers against the Twins, so that's cool. But I've never been to Miller Park. Sorry, I live in Minnesota now. It's hard to get over there. Been to some Bucks games, though. You know that.
Yeah. We had we went to one last year, and it was 4 years to the day of the previous game we'd been to at going to the Bucks game. So that was pretty fun. I didn't even plan it. I didn't plan that, but it happened. AmFam Park. Thank you, Browner, for correcting me. No longer Miller Park, now AmFam Park. We got to change names, and at least it's a Wisconsin business and not some other overarching business. I don't know, whatever some of these things are named after. Okay. I know. Anybody disappointed about the NBA season, the way the Bucks were doing? I'm disappointed. I was supposed to go to a game with Nico. That was going to be awesome. And then all this stuff hit, so we didn't get to go to a game. Nick informed me today when I asked him about it. I said, did you get your money back for those tickets? And he said, no, because the game is just suspended. It hasn't been canceled. So they would not.
Are you joking me?
Oh, no. They would not refund any money unless it's officially canceled.
Oh, well, eventually it's going to be canceled. So He should get his money back.
Either way, if the NBA does not come back, like the Bucks kind of surprised last year. This year I really felt like they had a handle on stuff and that they were going to be strong enough to deal with, get through the East and then be competitive against the team in the West, whoever that ended up being. And I was really excited for their chances for the first championship in Milwaukee since the only championship in Milwaukee to this point. And I was super excited. And now we don't get that. Probably. What does the NBA do? Is it just a lost season? Maybe they should just give the trophy to the team with the best record. It's not exact.
I don't know. I heard they were talking about doing like a tournament with only 3 games, best out of 3, and everybody all the games are going to be in Vegas. There would be no people there, just the teams playing, and have it on VIPV. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. They were going to do it like June, something like that. That's the latest thing I heard from somewhere. I don't know where, but it's stuck in my brain that I remembered it. But I don't know if that's going to happen either.
And man, this year too, because stuff changes from year to year, right? But the Bucks are the only team to ever have 2 sets of brothers on their NBA team. Like, that's insane. And I love the Lopez brothers, man. They're like exactly opposite looking, but act pretty much the same. They're both the same height, and they have different skill sets in a way, but they're just great people to have on the Bucks team. I love those guys. My favorite player to make a 3-pointer for the Bucks, the one I get the most excited about, is if Brook Lopez makes a 3. If he makes a 3, I jump out of my chair more than I would anybody else making a 3 on that team, because he shouldn't make them, but he's awesome and he does it. And Robin Lopez, like, there was this awesome post recently that said like something about showed Robin Lopez when you're going to work, and then or Brook Lopez, you're going to work, you look like this, and Robin Lopez, when you're quarantined for a couple weeks, you look like this, because his hair and he doesn't shave and all that stuff. It's just funny, man. Those guys are fun. They joke around, they add to the team, and I want to see them both win it. I want to see all the guys, and of course, I want to see the city of Milwaukee, the Bucks organization. So we're hoping the NBA season gets salvaged. I don't know. Giannis hasn't played basketball in forever. You hope guys get healed up and that they still have a chance to do the playoffs or something. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's out of our control. All this stuff is. So sports, though, Ben, is there? Oh, there's one other thing I needed to bring up. Nick, you got anything to fire Ben up? If you do, throw it in there. If not, I do have something. And I need you to clarify, Ben, because I sent you a video of the Pick 6 podcast where they were just trashing the Packers. And they also said how the Packers are set to regress. And what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Do I think they're going to win 13 games again? No, most likely not. But I still think they're going to win the division, because what have the other teams in the division done? Nothing. I don't think the other teams are better. So I think the Packers will still win the division and have a shot at at advancing in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. But this is a professional CBS podcast with 4, I will refer to them as clowns. They don't look or dress like clowns, but they speak like clowns. And they said all these things about the Packers are going to regress. Aaron Rodgers is no longer, he's a good quarterback, but he's not very good. He's not great or whatever. And then they also, in a later section of their podcast, said that Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, because
that I don't agree with.
Because they were talking about Geronimo Allison now signing with the Lions, and how big of a signing that is, and like the Packers are going to regret this, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, no. These guys are a bunch of clowns, and they said how lucky the Packers were last season, all that stuff. And then
they were.
And then Ben, I said we got to tear these guys apart. And then Ben sends me a text, says, well, I agree with 60% of what they said. And I was like, what 60% do you agree with? And he didn't send me anything back. So Ben, please explain yourself. What 60% of that garbage and total trash do you agree with?
Well, they got lucky. They won a bunch of close games that were ugly. That's all we saw all year was ugly wins. Am I right? Yes. Now, some of them, like I said, Shannon Sullivan made a couple of awesome plays at the end of the game where they need to get a stop and they got a stop. You had guys get interceptions in the end zone. How many? Packers had 4 interceptions in the red zone last year at key moments that stopped other teams from winning. Think about that. That doesn't just happen. They're lucky they played Mitch Trubisky, who just threw up a wood duck in the first week, and Amos is there to make it fit. In the double coverage, it was dumb. It was a dumb pass. It was stupid. They're lucky they played a guy who's stupid, right? Yeah. They're lucky that Aaron Jones is as good as he is, that he can take a screen pass from Aaron Rodgers when they're losing against Detroit, and nobody blocks. Like Elton Jenkins misses his block completely. Still, Aaron Jones is good enough to duke the guys out of his shorts and run for 38 yards or whatever it was and get him into field goal range. They're lucky that happened. Anybody else would have been tackled right away. But Aaron Jones is awesome, which is why they shouldn't get Jonathan Taylor, like Dad said. I like Dad. I love Dad. But no, they got Aaron Jones. We're good. The other thing that those guys said is that they don't think that Aaron Rodgers Matt LaFleur on the same page in the offense. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Why else on 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 2 is Aaron Rodgers throwing 45-yard bombs when he's got guys open for the 8-yard first down? Because he doesn't know what the crap is going on, or he's doing whatever the hell he wants. He's not on the same page with LaFleur. It happened all year long. Because Rodgers wants to be the hero. He wants to make the big play. He wants to be the superstar. He even said so much in an interview with Mike Tirico that we all could see before the game with the Chiefs. That's what he said. They said, "Hey, is that nice? You don't have to be the hero all the time." And Rodgers said, "Well, I kind of like being the hero." Oh, well, stop trying to be the hero and play the freaking game the way it's supposed to be played. Aaron Rodgers, as we've seen, and you said it last week, when he has to sit in the pocket because he's hurt, he's awesome. He reads the defense. He passes to the guy who's open. They move the ball down the field. They score points. And then there's games where he's not hurt, and he runs around, and he holds the ball 25 years, and he waits, looks at Devontae Adams too long, wait for him to get open. He doesn't get open on 3rd and 8, when there's a guy wide open on the frickin', Kumero's open for an 8-yard out route on 3rd and 6. He doesn't throw it to him. So I agree with those guys. The things I didn't agree with is that they said that it was going to be hard to replace the production of Jimmy Graham and Geronimo Allison. It was 700 yards and like 7 touchdowns or something like that. And I was like, no. Because if they would have had the correct guys in the game in those two positions, they would have had like 1,200 yards in 2 of those positions and like 12 touchdowns. Because those 2 guys stunk. And those guys leaving is actually going to lead to guys who are better in those positions to make more plays, be way more productive. So that's what I disagreed with them. They said the Packers, they gave them an over-under of 9.5 wins. Most of them said under. They all think the Packers are going to get less than 9.5 wins. So 9 wins or less. And here's the thing. That sucks. They're playing a first-place schedule now.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? They got to play the 49ers in San Francisco. Hello? That's going to suck. They got to play a bunch of teams that are like actually good. Last year they were playing the 3rd-place schedule. So it's going to be way more difficult. So I agree with that.
Hold on.
So those are all things I agree with.
Okay, hold on.
If not more, there's probably more. I just can't think of it.
All right, just wait a second. The reason within the first, I don't know, minute of watching that video of why I totally said these guys are completely just clowns and not a credible source to listen to is because one of the guys went on and on. The first point he made was the huge loss of Brian Bulaga, how big of a loss that's going to be for the Packers, Ben, which, come on, man. Like, give me a break. Dude, do you watch this stuff? Do you understand anything? Like, come on. All right, I got to so that made me just be like, you guys don't know. And then when they go on and talk about Geronimo Allison, how big of a signing that is for the Lions, Packers are going to regret losing. Like, seriously? Come on, dudes. Okay. All right, so Nick had a good one here that everybody loves, which made you he says there's no such thing as luck. It's a quote from Ben Kenobi. And everyone was saying that was a very good. Nick wins. Nice, Nico. Way to go. Browner says over 10-6, but still win the North. I agree. Who's better? Who's gonna like the Vikings lost 5 players on defense? Yes, they got some young guys. There's gonna be some growing pains there. They've got the Bears are the Bears. I mean, the Bears signed Jimmy Graham to 2 years. They're a mess. They signed Nick Foles. They don't know what they're doing at quarterback. The Bears are a mess. The Bears are a mess, and the Lions are still the Lions, man. So, the Lions are going to play tough games, but they're going to find a way to lose them. So the Packers are going to win the division and be in the playoffs. That is it. Will they win 13 games? Probably not. I think 10-6, maybe 11-5. That would be my take. But when you say under 9 games or 9.5 games, they got 6 games against the North opponents. And North is drastically worse since even last year. But from 2 years ago, they're much worse.
I didn't agree with that. Okay? I think the Packers, I'm just saying they're not going to be 13-3. That's for sure.
Right.
They're going to be, the thing is, they could be better. They could be even better if they do the things that they should do. But and they let's look at the season. They signed back the guys that were good players. They left the ones go that could be replaced. Right? That was the first step. That was good.
Hold on, we're losing some volume on you. I don't know why. So check your. Did that thing get stuck?
Stick this thing right by my face.
Oh, I think your microphone got stuck in your armpit. So,
Oh, that's not nice.
Does it smell bad?
What I'm saying is, no. I just took a shower not so long ago. Hey, you know what's really crazy? Are you ready for this? Since I've had nothing to do for 2.5 weeks, I've been lifting weights for the first time in 25 years. Well, 20 years. I think I was 24 the last time I lifted weights. Now 45. So I also went for a bike ride yesterday. Actual outside. So Olivia was like, "I'm sick of being in the house, Dad. Let's go for a bike ride." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I did things outside, and I lifted weights 7 times in the last 2 weeks. So I told Jesse, I was like, "I'm gonna look better than Chris Hemsworth in 2 months from now. Look out! I want to be a monster. I want to be like Thor 2.0."
Wow! And I see you shaved, so that's something.
Yeah, I shaved Wednesday, so.
Oh!
I bought a new razor.
Nice.
So that's something.
That's good. You said you were using
sensitive.
You said you were using a Bic from 10 years ago or something that you've had for.
Yeah, it was bad. It's bad. I shouldn't have been.
No, that's not good. Agus thought
I lost track of where we were at.
Agus thought you were losing volume because the wine was affecting you. Too much wine, and Andrew was amazed. He said Ben went outside.
I know. Hey, I didn't run anywhere, Andrew. I'll tell you that. There's no way I'm running. No way. I did ride bike for an hour.
Nice.
And I couldn't feel my legs after the first 10 minutes. And then Livy's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Let's just keep going." I just kept going. I couldn't feel my legs anymore, but we just kept going. And then I got home and I felt terrible. And then 10 minutes later, I felt great. So I was like, "Hey, that worked. We got to do that again." So we're going tomorrow as long as it doesn't snow. It snowed today. It snowed in Rochester today.
Really?
Yeah, snow by you guys or anything?
No, it was 60 degrees here. It must have been just on the other side of a front or something.
It snowed here.
Eric Dahl says, is anyone else reminded of the scene from Cocoon when Ben's talking about working out? And I never saw the movie Cocoon, so I don't know what that is. Eric says snow here, freezing rain too. Geez, you guys, Minnesota weather. Minnesota weather sucks, you guys. I'm sorry.
It does suck, dude. It's way worse than Wisconsin. I gotta be honest.
Minnesota
is terrible.
Snow in Eau Claire too. It must have been that north. I will say, we've been down in the southern part of the state now for over 10 years, and I do not miss the weather going through Eau Claire, the northwest part of the state and all that. I don't miss it. I don't miss the lake effect snow from where I grew up, and I sure as hell don't miss the record snowfall of 217 inches that we had the 1 year I went to college in Superior before I went to Eau Claire. So I don't miss that. No, no, no. I'm happy to be in the South, a Southerner, if you will, in terms of the state of Wisconsin, but not the South of the country. Hell no, I would avoid that like the plague. But the South part of Wisconsin is just fine for me. Yeah. So I don't remember where we were either. Anybody else got anything to say?
Anymore.
My beer's almost gone. I will say that.
Well, I got something.
Ben's got something
to ask you about.
Okay, go ahead.
I recently started something because I've been laying around doing nothing, right?
Okay.
So, but I don't know if you're okay with it. If you're not okay with it, then I'll just put it on my own YouTube channel. But I was going to put something on Hafeman Brothers channel, and it's going to be called Ben's Top Tens. I make a top 10 list of whatever the hell I feel like doing.
I like it.
It's kind of like you're all over the map, but it's just me ranking things from 10 to 1. And I've already got a video already done and edited, ready to go. So all I need is the passcode. Don't tell them here on the website, but I figure out while we're live. But send me the text or something, so I can get into the YouTube Hafeman Brothers, and I'll upload it like within the next couple of days or something. And it's called Ben's Top 10 Movies You Probably Haven't Seen. As you know, and maybe nobody else knows, it's like a couple people know it. Listen, I work at a movie theater part time because I love movies. I've always loved movies. That's just what I like to do. So I like to watch whatever. I got a crap ton of movies at my house, and during this last couple of weeks, me and my daughter Olivia have been watching a ton of movies, old movies from the 90s and 80s and early 2000s that she's never seen, and every one of them, she's like, wow, that's cool. I like that movie. I like that movie, Dad. I like that movie. There's been a couple where she didn't like them as much, but most of them she liked. And I was like, holy crap, there's a lot of these movies that I don't know if anybody's even seen them. There's some that no one's ever heard of, and maybe only I like them. It's back when we were in college. As you know, I was in college for 25,000 years. And during the summertime, everybody else would go home for, it was a long time. Yeah. And everybody would go home for school, and I would still be there, and I'd need something to do. So I'd go to like Tammy Video or Blockbuster or whatever, and walk through the dollar rentals, see if there's a movie there that would spark my interest. And I found a couple that were awesome that I'd never heard of before. So some of those are on this list, and there's a list of 10 movies that, from who knows when, that might be pretty good. It's about 23 minutes or so. So I'm thinking about loading that and maybe doing more Ben's Top Tens in the future. So
nice.
It's just something to, there's nothing to do. And there's nothing that you can't watch. There's no movies. There's you can watch these, you can stream these shows on Netflix and Disney Plus and all these other channels and stuff. But it's after a while, you're kind of okay, I've been watching shows. Give me something else to do. Well, here's a list of stuff. And not only that, not only is it a list, but it's 10 movies. And maybe some of these movies people haven't seen, and maybe they would like to watch them. And they could, rent them or download them or whatever the heck it is, or find them on Netflix or who knows what. So I got that ready to go. I just need your passcode so I can throw it on the thing.
All right, I'll give it to you. That sounds like a great idea. I like it. All right, Andrew says, and I think this might be Sarah too. Cool Runnings. They like that one. Eric wondering about The Cutting Edge. And
either of those made my top 10.
Oh, and Ekis says you should write a book, but his wife does that. He don't want to compete. He already got one author in the family. No, you can't do that.
Okay, Ekis, what do you want? Do you want a book or do you want more counterpoint? Because I can only do one or the other. So you pick.
And then Browner talking about the top 10 idea. He says top 10 Detroit wide receivers. Geronimo, number 11.
That's a good one, Browner. I like that.
Geronimo's.
I don't think he's even number 11, dude. Even if they had 11 receivers on the team right now, he'd be number 12.
Geronimo is a nice guy. That's what we say about him. He's a nice guy, but he's not very good at football. And he's slow, and he drops a lot of passes. Mom says The Princess Bride. She's wondering.
Yeah, but see, this isn't my top 10 movies of all time.
Okay,
top 10 great movies. This is top 10 movies that you probably haven't heard about. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I'll do other movies.
Dude.
That's the other thing is if I load this, I'm hoping that people will give me more ideas for top 10s, and then also other movies that I haven't seen that maybe are cool that I haven't heard about. because that's pretty sweet too. So if it does, I mean, I should be able. It's already done. The video's done. So I can put that up and then have people put comments on there and say, hey, here's a movie, here's a movie. That'll give me something to do too, because I'm bored. I can watch more movies that I haven't seen. That kind of thing. The other thing I was saying was, I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Good. I'm gonna jump.
The alcohol is starting to get to me because I'm slurring my words.
I'm gonna jump in. Here you go. You got people they're asking for this here. All right. Ekis wants a book about Connor Boyd, and then was it a sound book? When you open it, does it play music? Is that what you're looking? Okay. And then Eric.
Yeah, it's the kind with the buttons where you can press the button and then like every when you has a word, it shows a picture and then you have like little kid books.
Berkey can Berkey can work it. Berkey can work it. You just push a button, it plays like Ultimate Betrayal. She's like, what is this stuff? And then maybe, happy song. Anyway, and then Eric Dahl wants a behind the music counter. But they hear you talk about all your documentaries that you like to watch. They want documentaries about your band and your writing process. That's what they want.
I've been trying to get Brad to do those, but he doesn't like doing them when or he doesn't like recording them while we do it. So maybe this time I'll try to convince him to do it, but we'll see. Because I think it's interesting to watch how we do it, because it's very weird. It's not like you think. It's not like a band. Like you think a band records stuff, they like get together and record a song. No. It's like, okay, I sing like one line and Brad hits record and I sing the line and then he stops. Then we go to the next line and then I sing the line and he hits record and then he stops. Same kind of thing. And then we do guitar parts. It's like I record the guitar part and then he stops. And then we like splice it and move it around. And sometimes there's been some times where it's a song that I wrote and I'm like, Brad, I want to make this feel like an actual song where it's like all the way through. And there's some songs where I sing all the way through. Like Riptide is a song where I sing the whole thing all the way through with no stop. But there's other songs where I can't always do that because they overrun, like Black Unicorn. That's got so many parts that we couldn't do that with. So I had redo it and double it and over it and all that other kind of stuff.
I'm sorry. Did you say parts or farts?
I said parts.
Jerk. Okay. Well, hey, I hear farts a lot of times.
I am a Hafeman, but that's not what I do on the music stuff.
Right. Okay. We got a couple other top 10 ideas for you. Ekis wants top 10 characters Ben Hafeman should have played. I'm assuming in like a movie or something. Ekis might want a pop-up book. Nick wants top 10 Val Kilmer movies. Which
I can do that.
You're a huge Val Kilmer guy.
By the way, there's 2 Val Kilmer movies in the top 10 movies you probably haven't seen, just so you know.
There you go.
Just a heads up.
One of them's The Saint.
It is.
Really?
Don't give it away.
Wait. I thought that was a joke. I'm sorry. Elizabeth Shue just ruined that one for me. But anyway.
Yeah, she's terrible. Don't think about Elizabeth Shue. Think about Val. Val is awesome in that movie.
All right.
He plays like 9 different dudes.
All right.
It's crazy awesome.
All right. Eric wonders if we really want a pop-up book about you. And Browner says no. Eric wants top 10 Brett Favre or Bart Favre interceptions. Whew.
Oh, top 10. I can't even. Do I have a top? What is it? Top 200 and whatever 57? I can't.
There were certainly some memorable ones.
Yeah, I could just do a top 10 from his playoffs. How about a top 10 playoff interceptions? That kind of thing. 6 of them are in one game. 6 of them are in one game. Think about that.
So you probably didn't hear this because, and if anybody in Wisconsin knows of the show, Wildy and Tausch. Wildy's not important, but Mark Tauscher's cool. Anyway, that show's been going on for a while on ESPN Wisconsin, and so they base it out of Madison. It's also live in Milwaukee, I think, simulcast, but then you can get it on the internet. Anyway, they were talking about that game at one point, and Mark Tauscher played in that game. He was on the line, and he actually said this. He said Favre should have had 10 interceptions in that one game. He's like, it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. He should have actually had 10 picks in that one. Oh my God. And hey, I know a lot of you love Brett Favre, and that's great. That's cool. But that is that right there is a remarkable accomplishment. That's a feat that no one else could duplicate except maybe Jameis Winston, who I guess wanted the Packers to trade for last week or pick up or whatever it is. But we say no to Jameis Winston. But I don't know if that could ever be done by anyone else. The only thing that even rivaled that statement was one of the years Tony Dungy was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this was going back when the Buccaneers were in the Packers' same division, the NFC Central. And it was a game late in the years, like maybe 14th week of the season. I just remember it. Tony Dungy said in a press conference leading up to the game that Brett Favre should have 72 interceptions this year. I will never forget that my whole life. But it was guys dropping stuff, dropping picks and all this sort of stuff. 72 interceptions. Tony Dungy's like, if guys could catch, he would have 72 picks this year. He's one of a kind. He's one of a kind. And we love him for a lot of the stuff. The picks always drove me bonkers, which always took it away from me, for my feelings about him. But I know everybody else still loves him. That's great. But just put that in perspective. No one else could do that. No one else in the history of the NFL that could play quarterback for that long and have thrown that many interceptions and maybe have had 72 interceptions in 1 year. That would have been something.
I told you, it's all.
Oh, no, you guys. Come on, Zoom. Come back, baby. All right, I got to fill now.
You said I was lost.
Go ahead. You're back now.
I'm back.
We got to finish. We're going on long. Hopefully, you guys have hung in there. You guys have been great. You guys have been great.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Favre feels like if they grab me out of the stands and put me at quarterback.
All right, wide receiver.
And I had actually, no, at quarterback.
Oh,
I had some, and I could just get his talent. Like I would do all the crazy stuff Favre does. That's why people love him. That's why people always loved him. It's like he felt like one of us. He felt like a regular guy who somehow got to be the quarterback of a football team and just got to do whatever the hell he wanted. And that's why everybody loves him. Because he's just a regular guy. And you can't defeat that. But Rodgers feels like a guy who's above us. And that's the difference between Rodgers and Favre. I hate to say it. I know you love Rodgers more than anything in the world. I used to love Rodgers more than anything in the world, and I'm starting to lose my love for him a little bit. But that's the difference between those two guys. Rodgers feels like he's way up here, and we aren't as good as he is. And he lets us know about it. Favre felt like he was right at the same level of us. And he just happened to be the quarterback of the Packers, and he could do stuff. And he was like a regular guy doing all the crazy stuff that we always wish we could as fans. And that's why everybody loves him. And they always will. And that's the difference.
Well, I don't like to compare him because I think Rodgers is misunderstood. And I also think that many, many fans, even though the time and the transition, all that stuff was rocky and difficult, I think they're pretty glad of how the Packers have been stable at that position for the last 30 years or more, whatever it was. So we'll take that.
You never want to be the Bears. Ugh.
No.
Never want to be the Bears. No.
No.
Yeah. No. Packers way better.
Ekis had to go. Ekis, take care. Everybody else, my beer's gone, and I think our thoughts are gone.
Yeah.
But we love you all.
I got an empty glass.
We love you all. Radicats tonight and New England style IPA. Very good from Carbon 4, a place here right in Madison. Hope you enjoyed your drink or drinks, many of you, multiple. Congratulations on that. Hope you enjoy your time with us. Take care. Stay safe. We love you all. Thanks for tuning in to Hafeman Bros. Tell people about it. Next time, we'll catch you next Friday, okay? And we'll also do, Ben, are we doing a draft preview or what? Are we doing one?
We got to do one. I don't know.
All right. Whenever. Ben's going to get his act together. I'm just here to drive. I don't know anything. I just help things move along. And Ben gives you the real scoop.
I don't really know anything either. But I got to get my act together and start looking at this stuff.
One of us has to know something, and it's this guy right here. Peace out, everybody. We love you. Take care. Be safe.